There are a lot of different reasons why someone would choose to exercise their Second Amendment rights. The main reason is, the one that's most common amongst people that choose to carry a gun, is we like to be prepared. We like to be prepared for threats both likely and unlikely. That's one thing we usually have in common. Now, we can't always agree on what threats are more likely or which threats we should be more prepared for or even how to prepare for those threats. But there are some common threats that we can all agree on. And there's one threat that is probably the most dangerous threat out there to life, liberty, and the American way. And that threat is, of course, zombies. Now, like most Americans that like to be as prepared as possible for the forthcoming zombie invasion, I like to study up. And one of the main ways I study up is I watch the little AMC documentary, The Walking Dead. In fact, if you go over to gunchannels.com, every Monday evening, we actually have a group discussion on that previous week's episode of The Walking Dead. So if you're a Walking Dead fan that likes to talk to other Walking Dead fans, especially ones that also like guns, knives, etc., go over to gunchannels.com, join in on one of our Walking Dead chats on Monday nights. Now, if we have learned anything from The Walking Dead, it's that a gun isn't enough in the zombie apocalypse. You have to have an up-close zombie knife. A knife that you can use in close-quarter fighting that doesn't make a lot of noise, that you can easily stab a zombie in the head, put them out of their misery. Now, my favorite character is Carol. And Carol, of course, has an up-close zombie combat knife. She has a trench knife. Now, the trench knife she has on the show is a cheap $9 knife. It's nothing that I would want to own, but I still like the idea of a trench knife for an up-close zombie combat knife. So I thought I'd take this chance today to show you what I have chosen as my up-close zombie combat knife and ask you what you've chosen for your own. First off, let me show you what's going to be on my hip in the zombie apocalypse. This is what I've chosen. This is the Cold Steel Chaos. Now, this knife does come with a nice Kydex sheath here, which is reversible. You can wear it right or left-handed. The sheath is very nice. The knife locks into it very nicely. It is a very nice sheath. Now, the version I've chosen is the double-sided dagger. This is what I prefer for a stabbing instrument. Now, this knife does also come in a tanto blade. So if you prefer tanto blades, this knife is available in that configuration. Now, this knife does have a full tang blade. The blade runs continuously through the grip here so that you have a continuous piece of metal all the way through your gripping hand. That way the blade isn't going to break off in a zombie skull the first time you stab one. You definitely want a full tang on your zombie combat knife. This knife also has a breaking tool on the back of it here, and this thing could really crack a skull. If you wanted to come down the top of a head with this thing right here, I think that probably would be enough to kill a zombie right there. That would cause enough traumatic brain injury on its own. Plus, if you were ever needing to get into a car quickly to make an escape, this would be great for breaking the window and getting in if you needed to. Now, the most important feature of this knife that I think makes it the best close-quarter zombie combat knife is the fact that it is a trench knife. It does have this protection for your fingers here. I really like the way it's just split into 2 sections instead of 4. That way it doesn't spread your fingers out too much and make your grip weak on the blade. Gives you a real nice grip on the blade itself. And if you're ever in a situation where you've got to lay into a zombie with your fist to give yourself a little room to be able to stab, this will protect your fingers if you punch them in the face. You're not going to get bit on the fingers accidentally. And this is a solid piece of aluminum. This is very sturdy. This isn't Kydex or plastic or anything like that. This is solid aluminum. Just a punch to the temple with one of these would probably kill a zombie on its own, much less having to use the blade on them. But I would still use the blade afterwards just to make sure. Now, this knife is very sharp and made from a good steel, so you'll be able to use it for anything you would use your regular knife for, but those added features like the trench style design here, the full tang, the breaker, etc., make it the perfect close-quarter zombie combat knife. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me, well, what's the warranty on it, though? Well, if you're in the zombie apocalypse, warranties don't matter. You can't take it back. So I never have really looked into it. Plus, I've never had a cold steel knife break, so I've never had a reason to check into their warranty. That tells me a lot right there. The fact that I've owned a lot of them and never had to send one back, that tells me pretty much all I need to know about their quality. So there you have it. There's my choice for my up-close zombie combat knife. It is the Cold Steel Chaos Trench Knife. So now it's your turn to let me know what you've chosen for your up-close zombie combat knife in the comment section below. Let everybody know what you've chosen to defend yourself in the forthcoming zombie apocalypse. You ain't even my real dad.